The best traders in the world. Well, you want to be like one of those guys. Hopefully, one of the 5 coins that I've talked about today might set you en route towards that goal. Hi friends, the top 5 most popular trading coins in the cryptocurrency market right here, right now. Coming up on the show, we're going to start off with Matic, that's Polygon. Then we're going to take a look at Near Protocol, that's NEAR. And then we're going to look at Phantom, FTM. Then we're going to look at the Oasis Network, that's Rose. Then we're going to take a look at Veracity, VRA. And that's your top 5. And we're going to do that right here, right now. Hit that like button and that subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I've actually got the Matic chart behind me right now. I'll just flick over to a better looking screen for it so you can see it a little bit easier. And this thing has been going up today. It looks quite healthy and quite good so far, although it has become a little bit extended here where we're seeing it just now. Will we need to see this thing have a little bit of a pullback? And I think that's going to be quite interesting if you're looking to get into this one and pick up some cheaper coins. If we're just going to measure it out and figure out where that could possibly be at, then maybe we also want to know where we've come so far. This is of course Dow theory giving us that nice 50% retrace. Now I would love to see this thing just keep going because of course I went long on this myself yesterday, but I'd be happy to take profits here if we're not going to find ourselves moving up towards that 251 area. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, but do hit like and all the rest of it. Now my target currently, if we do get follow through, is 251, and then I will be looking for that pullback. But at the minute, if we were to see one, where could that come in around? And let me just get the old measuring stick out here and look the other direction, looking from down to the up. It's behind my head, so I can appreciate it's hard for you to see where those numbers are, but I'm looking over to the double lines just here, that $2.05 area. That's a really tasty rebuy, and it's also a big pivot point for us in the markets. Pushing down below that sees us dropping back down to that 190s area again and other regions beyond. Okay, but what we're looking for at the minute is for the broader picture on this thing, which has clearly been a nice upward channel to have found its feet in here. It was a good time to get in yesterday. If we get back there, $2.05 is a cheaper option, but if we never make it down and you're just looking to be eager on this one and try and buy into positivity, then all the 2s, 222 is the number. We said in yesterday's video, we're saying it today, 222 is the number. Moving on then to the next one, and we have Near USDT on the go, and this coin has been pushing up quite high. We can see actually this is the first time that I've looked at this today, and I'm seeing that it is up here having put in, what is that? Is that an all-time high? On this particular market, we can see that there's a wick over there, an all-time high. Am I getting carried away over here? Maybe not quite, not so much. Yeah, this coin is performing really, really well. Want to look at this on a different exchange then. I can see that just here is not putting in an all-time high. I want to just see if that is the case somewhere else. Let's take a look over at KuCoin. No, not there. And let's take a look somewhere else as well, Near USD, and we'll take a look over at Bitfinex, another liquid exchange. Well, we do have an all-time high in here today on Bitfinex. So that's an interesting little dynamic that's at play in the markets. I think it's probably worth bearing in mind a couple of things about this one. Obviously, we're looking at a really enthusiastic market wanting to buy this one towards the top side, but with organic movements coming in here, we could see a pullback having done technically just enough to be able to oscillate nicely with what is otherwise been quite a nice moving trend. What we can see is that with this most recent high, no matter what way you cut it, you're getting in a bit of the old bearish divergence. So that's there. We've had a few thrusts of it so far. That means that, like, you know, you got to be aware that there could be pullbacks in this. This is the low end in the market, and that came in July 2021 on this particular exchange anyway. And we can see then if we were looking for a pullback on this, we could even see huge numbers, like a 40% pullback down to $10.13 on this one for what would actually be a very overall healthy retrace. So if we do see something like that happen, be aware of it. The key for me, I think, on this one right now is to whether or not we're going to push back into the bullish control zone. Note how low the bullish, the RSI, sorry, came down here in this movement on the 6th of December. Over here on the 6th of December, we can see that this was a low, but ultimately these bodies didn't go any lower than those previous bodies, giving us a lovely dose of hidden bullish divergence to carry us on up the way. That may have given you that little hint that we could be going there. Come in though with more of that bearish divergence, we might start seeing things contract a little bit on this market. If we push on though, where's the next target? Because what we look for as traders is of course follow through, and to be honest with you, it's going to be hard to dictate because of this strange wick here. But we do have a big period of consolidation that happened before, or a downward kind of movement that happened, and we know that really the range that we're experiencing right now is one side or another of the expression of this previous consolidation that happened, and we're looking there towards $22.07, right? That would be the next target towards the top side here. 17, you know, you're still looking at solid percentage rises up. Of course, that will make it quite extended by that stage. It doesn't take a genius to see how far that would put you away from the moving averages. Excellent. We also had the next one, FTM, coming in here. Whoops, that's the wrong one. FTM USD is what we're looking for. Phantom versus US dollar. We'll probably want to look at this against the tethers, just so we get the most liquid option. And this has had a bit of a pullback so far, having done not an all-time high or any of those questions, but come in fairly close to our previous all-time highs with this big resurgence up the way. Overall, in the markets right now, there is still a question when it comes to the potential for big pullbacks, right? There is still a question of it, and this one is showing us it perhaps more than the other two that we've looked at so far. While we have this upward sloping line, it does give you a less desirable head and shoulders effect here. If you were to consider that to be a shoulder, that to be a head, and that to be a shoulder, it's less desirable when they slope up the way like that. Am I going to put all my chickens in one basket, or eggs, or whatever? What came first? You tell me. I don't know, but if this did push towards the downside, you can see that the girth on this thing is so huge on a percentage basis, it could really damage the overall markets. And I think that really just ties into the overall story of the trend. Really, at the minute, I want to see this continue. And besides, head and shoulders, they fail more than half the time anyway. What are you talking about? Just kidding, right? So we want to see this. We want to see this. We want to see if we're looking for discounts, you know. And that's what this show is about, really. At the minute, is I'm looking to find the discounts. We're looking at coins like this one is 254. I'm thinking, where could the discount on this one come in at? If you're looking to try and, of course, accumulate wealth over a period of time, then you don't want to be like 1000x and always buy the top. Do you know that those guys' songs? I love them. We're going down to 1K, but Mr. Novograd say we have bottomed out. So you'd be looking for your discount if you're going to get one in here around about 140, and if we are to climb on up higher, then we do certainly have targets for us. This overall kind of shape of this thing makes it harder to draw a channel in, etc., making comparisons here, there, and everywhere. But I've already looked at this in the past, and we could be looking as high as $9. We're down at $2.50 at the minute, so I think it's perhaps worth thinking about for any potential upside. Maybe $6 is a better target for us, given the 1618 off the back of that consolidation just in there. But you know what we're doing at the minute is we are pulling back on this coin, and while it remains it's above 246 at the minute, but dropping down below 246 I think is going to be that knocking on the opportunity door of that 140. Otherwise, consolidating as we are right now above that 246 is when you're going to start looking to see if this can actually try to get a breakout. Right now it's not like it's necessarily lined up for one coming in for a cross negatively on the DMI. It'd probably be more inclined to look for that better value. Talking about which, we just had that happen on the next one we're looking at, which is of course Oasis over here. This is Rose USDT on the Binance chart. It's at 41 cents at the minute, having done very, very well, recovering from the lows in there at 30 cents, having moved up 30% in prices towards the top side, 15% on the day to day since its low yesterday. We were looking at this and saying it had a triangle and it had the potential to move one of two directions. Well, frankly, it did go for the downside one, coming in here and testing off our moving averages at the ribbon that I've got displayed below the prices just here, and we can see that this is overall inside a wedge. It is indeed inside a wedge, and it is the potential for this one to go way low if we were to drop down. You're talking about a range here where the top end is at 36 and the low end is at 14, and that's of course 18 cent move here, and we could of course see this see this pushing then from the sort of 31s all the way back down to those sorts of low targets again down below there. Now, are we actually expecting that to happen? Not necessarily, right? Because I want to show you this. We're actually operating inside all-time highs, and in all-time highs I always anticipate seeing bearish divergence. We're seeing that we've actually got an increase in volume as we're going in through this pattern. So what do you want to see during one? You want to see the diminishing volume. Hush hush now, ladies and gentlemen, hush hush. Do we have a secret? Well, we might just have a little secret long-term, bigger long-term play on this one if it were to break up. But you know, as it stands at the minute, we're within a range, and we've not got all-time highs we've not got new highs coming in right here right now. With this, we are currently within the range, trading it towards the top side. Hey, you know what, like you can't rely on technology all the time. You can have black swan events. Always manage your risk. I just had a black swan event with the old mouse to kill over here, having run out of battery. Are we back in the battery game? Come on, please work. Don't need I say we're going down to 1k, but Mr. Bavogratse, we have battle made out. Battle made out. Battle made out. Battle out. And we're back. Okay, well, so there goes the plan, Amanda, of not being able to do this without editing it. But there you go, eh? Sod's law. Am I right? Are we looking at that on? And then there is Veracity, VRAUSDT. This is one of these so-called cheap coins. You can see it's down there at 3 cents at the minute, and it has had a big negativity. Out of all the ones that we've looked at so far, there are two interesting things here. This is one which is obviously been going down. We can see that with the way that the moving averages are all above the charts. That wasn't the same with the other ones that we've just been looking at. But what we can also say is then we draw out from the high here to the low here that we're just coming in and testing off of this 309. If we get to 0.031 on this one, then we're starting to look up the way, and we've got a target up there of 0.05. That's a 50% increase plus towards the top side potential for us on this one. Just aiming up for the 50% increase. Probably a bit wiser when you consider where the position of the moving averages are, and how if we did push past this previous high here, start to make the conditions look like they were changing, and we most likely want to be coming in for an organic higher low at that point on this. So I don't know, this one here, could it potentially turn around? I would come into the bearish control zone. That's not exactly that brilliant, but this is actually one of these ones that likes to dip its toes right on in here, and maybe in some senses this is the sort of thing that you actually want to make it so that the bearish control zone is perhaps, rather than being down here at 35, is actually closer down to that 30 instead. And this is the sort of thing that kind of, you know, shows you, whoops, well, hold on a second, have we really actually done it? Do we kind of remain in a position where we've actually got the long-term trend on the go with us? Well, I would say that that is quite possible. I'm Rocky Outcrop, and I really do appreciate you joining me for the show here. I always say this on my live shows, it is what it is until it is what it isn't. And my friends, on this coin, we've actually seen that there is an uptrend overall on this, but the deep retrace that we've had at the minute is going to leave people feeling rather scared. You're probably wanting to know then, if we are coming in close to turning this round for the potential move up, even if it's just a retrace against what could potentially be at this stage a downward trend, if that were to initiate, where have we come so far with regards to the pullbacks from the highs to the low, and is there any sort of lining up of anything? Well, we're below the 50% and not as low as the 618. If this actually cancels out here and doesn't take out that 3-1 area, and by jingles we're close but we're not there, and this is the way that it so often goes whenever you're, you know, living on the edge, then we could be looking for a better buy price. So like the previous two coins, if I want to give you that better buy price, it's going to be somewhere between 0.17 and 0.19. That's right, you could be looking down to 2. That's a big chunk off from where we are now. I know it's only in cents, but that's still represents a third of its value being knocked off. So I would be careful at this point here from where we are just now, because this is the natural bounce area that people would be looking to if they were bearish on this and simply wanted to continue the downward trend, which has been in place overall since October last year, right? But we've been through the mills on this one. Every time we've come down and thought about could we turn around on it, we've not actually succeeded. We have had times we've got up above the 236, etc., and then we've gone on for just retraces and retraces. So at this point, if I'm going to be positive on it, I'll remain really rather prudent and say, look, you know, 30 and the 40 areas, those are better targets, yada yada yada. But we're waiting to see how this one goes. If we're going to get that jump on it, it's going to start from 3-1 up, and we've come so close now as to get onto the edge of the diving board. But just like the diver that goes up to the top of the diving board and it stands there and bounces on the end of it, but then ultimately chickens out, sometimes, you know, you have to go right to the edge of a decision making area before you decide to turn around again. And that's why we're looking so closely at that one. And if we did drop on down, then maybe we're going on down to 2, and that would be a very good buy on it. This one is traded with, of course, perpetual futures contracts. It does provide an extra liquidity, and this area that we took out, that low just there, is obviously somewhat negative for us. And obviously we took out our December the 4th lows, like unlike other cryptos, you know, like a lot of them that did better managed to remain above that. For me, the point, the fact that if we go above that 3-1 area is also taking back out the lows of that December 4th, gives us a good chance to see this run. Speculating wildly on it would be quite enjoyable, given the fact that this is, of course, a darling new child and amongst some of the perpetual futures liquidity contracts out there that we see on the likes of KuCoin, etc. Well, that's the show. Thank you so much for watching. Do hit like and share with your friends. I hope we've given you some ideas to think about and that you're enjoying this music in the background. Bitcoin, please go to moon. And I'll just give this another shout out as we bring up this one, I Only Buy the Top. And to finish off the show, let's give it a listen.
Never be a fool, but the Bitcoin 10K break, I had to realize mistake and buy. I only buy the top, FOMO, and then we drop. Everyone else is
The best traders in the world. Well, you want to be like one of those guys. Hopefully one of the 5 coins that I've talked about today might set you en route towards that goal. Much love, everybody. Hit the like and subscribe. I'll be back again tomorrow.